And we're live. We're live.
Great.
Okay, so I just retweet this in the Povertycast account. It's still saying that I'm playing Akatsuki Blitzkampf. That's definitely not Akatsuki.
On my end, it says just chatting.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's
Twitch
correct.
is wrong, yeah.
Yeah, because I said it, but on my, on OBS, it said I was streaming Akatsuki. For whatever reason. So let me actually get my tweet. There we go.
Dropping a Starbucks in the chat for good luck.
Right, I guess just waiting for people to show up. Just a few seconds, I'll play the Kaiser Knuckles soundtrack very quietly in the background, so it's not too distracting. Still need to have it to make a proper intro too, but yeah. I also debated until an hour ago what to name this podcast. For real, I just could not make my mind up for ages.
Povertycast is appropriate.
Yeah, it's pretty appropriate. I was gonna name it Paupercast, just to not name it exactly like poverty, but why is my there you go. My cat VTuber avatar thing is actually moving. Okay, I was gonna name it Paupercast, but the problem is there's already a Magic the Gathering podcast with that name, so I decided not to go there and just went for the path of least resistance.
I mean, I've had to try to think of names for stuff involving poverty before. It's not easy. All the good ones are taken.
I was also gonna make a pun with the Knights Templar. They would be named like the Poor Knights of Christ or whatever. But I didn't really like the name. Nah, I'll just go with Povertycast. What's up, Shima? Hello. Thank you for being here. Thank you for deciding. Yeah, go ahead.
I used my last good idea when we had a poverty tournament series in Chicago, and our food stamp system is called the Link Card, so we were Link Card League.
Nice.
God, nice.
I mean, the food stamp podcast could also work, but but I don't think people will understand what it's supposed to be unless if you don't know the concept of poverty, you're why is it named the food stamp podcast?
Even poverty is sort of sounds weird sometimes. I don't know, it's too close to home.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of people don't even forgot what thank you to Be More Crazy for the follow, much appreciated. I think we can set that up. Hold on. Actually, while we wait, can we? But yeah, a lot of people forgot what poverty actually means, the whole reasoning, just because term came up as in you're playing these old ass games because you didn't have money for new games. So that's why the term showed up. That's one of the terms. A lot of these somewhat obscure FGC terms that showed up.
Right.
And then people sort of forgot why they appeared. Like, also the fact that a lot of old FGC turns are like old slang from like the 90s and early 2000s that's just stuck in the FGC.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so I always kind of told myself at least that it's not like completely tasteless, because what we're talking about is the amount of money that's in the pot, not like the not like a social, like, oh, I can't play Street Fighter. I don't want to play Street Fighter, so I play this game where there's no money.
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly like the perfect term, but no,
definitely not.
But it's what we have, and I thought that's going to be changed anyway. Let's actually start this thing. Actually, start playing this spot in the background. Anyway, hello and welcome to
this is the first one we're doing off of Arturo's stream.
A lovely bunch of people to talk about the certain
I missed one.
called Dankuga.
Yeah.
In the background in the stream, we were actually watching a VOD from the Kuga Battlegrounds, the tournament that was hosted a while ago. So yeah, quick introduction.
Okay, they just started.
Please.
From Shima, it's pointing out it's actually playing sound.
Videos
I haven't seen Slamtown play this game. I assume he's going in towels.
Should not play that. I don't know why it's doing that.
And yeah, you can see one of the character designs in this game are top notch. Someone actually commented, I think, in the first tournament.
Sorry, just 1 second. Is it playing sound now, Shima? I switched the audio track to something that doesn't exist, so it shouldn't play. Like the issue with I'm using the VLC plugin on OBS. It's good right now. Okay, we're good. Hey, so yeah, we're playing Dankuga Battlegrounds VOD in the background, and so yeah, quick introduction from each of you. I guess since I spoke with you, PolarBair, first of all, you can start.
Yeah, so I ended up trying this game out on a whim, more or less. What actually happened was a friend of mine, Vivian. I don't know who here knows Vivian. Velocity C22 on Twitter, I think. And she was one of our best Samurai Showdown 3 players. But she also takes breaks from fighting games pretty frequently, so she actually wanted to attempt the general challenge in Kaiser Knuckle.
So that's how you somehow found this game, okay?
Yeah, the original Kaiser Knuckle is the original of this game, and this is the I guess Champion Edition, right? It's an update with some new palettes. You can play the bosses.
Yeah, so
Unreleased, mind you.
Unreleased, yes. I was actually gonna go on that just a bit, but yeah. So, Fage, I guess that's you. That's because T's muted. Okay.
Yeah, hi. I'm BunniesFromHell. I'm a little bit iffy on general involvement and stuff. I guess I like to kind of keep local, but I've been running Poverty stuff for years locally, and yeah, this was something we just we booted up one time because Mountain Man Jed said it was cool, and we fell in love with it, and we started the Discord to post up stuff we were finding. Now there's what? Let me get the number. How many people are in that Discord?
I'm gonna guess 60, 70.
Yeah, I was guessing 70, but that feels, oh my god, that felt too high. It's actually 90.
Awesome.
Nice. Hey, so yeah, I guess that leaves you T.
Yeah,
quick introduction.
I got into this game because PolarBair asked me to play it, and I was like, okay, well, it's 6 buttons. I played this once a long time ago back on, hey, anybody know what Kyler Net Play was on MAME back before this game was even on a Fightcade emulator? Yeah, really, really terrible online, but I played it. So I was like, why not? I'll give it a try again. I liked Bart's the last time I played, so I got to try that on good netcode, and I was like, wow, this game is really cool and really strange. I'm interested, and that's just how I kind of kept playing it. I joined the Discord, and then I just started doing commentary because, Bear always asked me to do stuff with him.
So yeah,
So this is basically my fault.
Yep.
So yeah, just so for the ones that don't know exactly how this game came to be, this game is sort of the exactly as it's been mentioned, the update to Kaiser Knuckle, but yeah, it was unreleased, and we don't know actually how it got leaked to the internet, do we? We don't,
no,
right?
But it's not. It's probably nothing special. If I had to guess, like this happens with prototype boards all the time.
Yeah.
Where someone just finds it and goes, "Oh, what is this?" It's no one's found this before. Okay, cool. Just dump it, put it online. It's out there.
It could have been something they were going to plan to do a location test for, any kind of rollout or an update that they never got to finish. Because a lot of times in arcades you can get like location tests or special previews of games that aren't like technically done, but they have a cab for them because the board's there. And
yeah, this seems mostly done. I think Jed has had a bit of unique insight since he messes with the code and all. But as far as we can tell, there's like signs this isn't completely done. Design wise, battle system wise, but the only thing that we perceive as missing is a couple of character portraits.
Yeah.
Anything else can be like chalked up to just weird design decisions.
Yeah. Right. Like you could chalk it up to like, oh, it didn't get finished, or maybe that is what they wanted, because you can never tell with old games, because this is around the time when fighting games didn't have a lot of like, because now we have like science of fighting games. We've got so much in-depth articles and write-ups and research done by people that work on games and people that play them respectively. Like there's just so much more knowledge out there now than there was when this game was made.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly that. It's an old game, so even old games that actually had development time, there's always weird decisions. And things that they pretty much just tried it, threw at the wall, and decided to see what stuck. Even SF2 has a whole number of weird design decisions that didn't really stuck. Didn't really stick around.
The funny thing, this game is also, to pinpoint it, it's like I think the original Kaiser Knuckle is like 93 and this is 94. I could be wrong on that.
I think that's correct, yeah.
So can I get a quick rundown on, say, the general differences between Kaiser Knuckle and Dunhuga?
The only one that, like, off the top of my head, besides that you can play the boss, is the fact that Bart's practically has a new move. He's a charge character for the most part, but he has a move that's like just back forward or 4-6 and kick, and that was changed from like a grounded kick, sort of like crack shoot, Terry Bogard's crack shoot, to like a dive kick that he can use in the air without charging.
Yeah, and the controls got revamped as well. This game used to be a too many button game. I'm gonna say that. We're gonna say
that 10 normals.
10 normals.
Jesus.
Yep. Yeah, you would do, I think it would be light and medium together to get like a certain strength of heavy, and then medium and heavy together to get another one. It was weird. So they just trimmed it down to be a standard 6-button game, which helped a lot in the control department and made it way more accessible.
There's two things about that really help with this version. One of them is that a lot of those moves got turned into command normals, so if your character had a good one, you still have it, right? Mm-hmm. And then the other thing is that if you go play Kaiser Knuckle, there's a really weird thing where some of the characters in that game have virtually identical buttons, but they have like slightly different damage numbers and recovery or something. So a lot of those just got trimmed down into one version of that button.
Yeah, another good example of that is like Bart's has obviously a Sonic Boom type move, but because he also has a Burn Knuckle type move, he has that on back forward, so he has to charge down up for his Sonic Boom. And the heavy version of that throws out just 2 projectiles. And I believe in Kaiser Knuckle, you had to press 2 buttons for that, either like light medium for the 4th strength or medium heavy for the 5th strength.
Yeah, just generally it's a lot of stuff that you would see as like, because Kaiser Knuckle was 1993. It's obviously a long time ago. They had that 1 year to look at other fighting games on the market and try and adapt this game's weirder things to make it more competitive with those games, and all the changes they made to the game's mechanics and controls kind of line up with like, well, we've learned how to do this in a fighting game. Like command normals have been around since later revisions of Street Fighter 2, but it's very possible they just then looked at that and went, we could do that with our game too.
The other thing I can point out, like the general system thing I can point out, is that some of the weirder features in this game are new to this update. Like, and there's some features that aren't that weird, but they're actually still new to this update. Like in Kaiser Knuckle, the only character with a backdash is Gecko. In this version, every character has one.
That sounds terrible. What the hell? I didn't know that.
Backdashes are pretty good in this game too, so it's like hard to imagine a game without it.
So there's that, and then there's also the training mode. This is an arcade training mode from 1994, is new to this version, and the double jump cancels.
Arcade training mode in 1994 is pretty incredible, actually. Like, it took around 15 years for them to become standard. A good 15 years, actually. So it's actually kind of incredible. There's a arcade training mode in 1994.
And so I mentioned the double jump cancels. To be clear, the way that works is that most characters, except for Gecko, cannot double jump normally. But you can cancel an air normal into a double jump, and that's new to this version.
Did Kaiser Knuckle have juggling?
I believe it didn't.
Because that's another big thing this game has. It's weird the way juggling works. It's hard to explain, but it does have it.
The thing about differences between the two games is no one really plays Kaiser Knuckle competitively. It's just there for the general challenge.
Yeah, right.
I was gonna say exactly, because I've only ever seen there's a few competitive videos in old Japanese competitive videos from a decade ago or something online, and then it's just a channel challenge, and that's what everyone knows Kaiser Knuckle for. So yeah, actually speaking of the general, he was nerfed in Dankuga, right? He's not as
sort of. His AI loop is a lot less mean, but he's still got the same moves and everything.
Yeah, so I guess they used the US version of the general, the US release.
US Kaiser Knuckle has some weird little changes.
So one other thing that we know is missing that they didn't finish for this version is that you can look at the way characters are set up, and it's apparently, this is according to Jed, I might be getting this wrong, right? But I believe according to Jed, the general was planned to be playable. They just didn't. And probably they would have put more work into him as well, making him more fair.
He probably would have gotten new normals and probably new moves that were not what he has, because
he probably wouldn't have had a 3-hit slide so that it's safe on block.
Yeah, excuse me. They probably would have toned him down a lot, but yeah, the evidence is there that they planned to have him in there.
That would have been really fun.
Yeah. So aside from all the general weirdest we discussed, anything else that's very unique about this game
definitely the freeness of the juggle system, because there's a few key things. So when you hit someone with a normal that would reset, you can actually just juggle them again, and that will knock down regardless. But they're also in a juggle state. They're in a reset state where they can attack, so they can sometimes put out a quick jab and hit you and reset to neutral, or they can do their dive kick. Everyone has a dive kick, which is in the air, down, and all 3 kicks.
That's actually cute. It's also I guess that's another thing. Everyone has a dive kick, so it's dive kick before dive kick, I guess. How many years before? When did dive kick?
It's really funny. Yeah, dive kick, and I mean, I love dive kicks too, as a general, I guess, cliche or whatever. But dive kicks in this game are actually, they're not Akuma's or whatever. They're not very fast, but they usually knock down. So they're interesting.
Yeah, I would say the distinguishing thing about this game is that you get you get really interesting air exchanges between the double jump cancels and the reset system, and the universal dive kicks. All these things make some really interesting air situations. But otherwise, it feels like you're playing, something from '94. You're playing like Street Fighter 2, but you have double jump cancels.
Yeah, I think the dive kicks, I want to say, from just my analysis of the game and how it works, it's a prototype, obviously, so I can't tell full intentionality, but I think generally, because any character that can use a special move in the air, they can do it out of a backdash, but they can also do it out of air recovery. So that's a unique strength of those characters. And so the fact that everybody has a dive kick means they can also dive kick out of air recovery as well to reposition themselves in certain situations. So I feel like that mechanic is there specifically to give everybody at least some kind of option out of air tech that isn't just a jab.
Yeah, that sounds actually interesting. Like, also aside from having that option in the air, also like I like characters that have some sort of dive kick that allows them, aside from offensive use, as in actually hitting someone with it, also a way of like getting position. Like you could do that with a whole bunch of characters. So like. If anyone's played like Exert, like Sign, you know how Hellfelt, like Bridal Express were really fast. Pretty much has like no recovery, like on air Bridal Express. So you could just spam it in the air, just get aside. You could use it as a foot signal in the air, just sit them down. And, So I kind of like that style of dive kick, and yeah, that seems like how much recovery do the dive kicks have?
So that's an interesting question, because there's actually... So we said universal dive kick, right? That's just what we call the system mechanic. But it's a little reductive, because about half the cast has like a normal dive kick. And then the other half of the cast has some really weird stuff. Like Azteca just flips himself upward off the screen and comes back down.
Okay.
He has a big giant
hair.
Yeah, giant hair hitbox while he does that. But he just like flips himself upward. He doesn't actually dive kick. So as for how much recovery, it depends also, because some characters bounce off of you, some characters go through. Generally speaking, they're pretty safe though.
Yeah, I would say on Whiff they have like some recovery, but not too much.
It's like you can. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's a height restriction as well, don't they?
They do. But yeah, so one of the things about the dive kicks is just the anti-airs in this game are really good, like just generally across the board. There's a lot of really nutty anti-airs, so if you're gonna dive kick to change your momentum, you're trying to like clip their anti-air after it's recovering. You can't really just go in like, oh, this is my dive kick and now I'm in, because they can still, if they're ready for it, they'll just anti-air you.
Yeah, they're generally, because of how slow they are, because you mentioned they have quite a bit of startup, well, depending on the character, but many of them are sort of slow to start up, but that means they're really good for scaring people into doing preemptive anti-airs, and then you go down and you catch the end of their recovery with your dive kick. Like for Bart's, in Bart's case, his special move that is a dive kick goes down a lot faster. So if they're prepared to anti-air that, and they just expect that, and you do his regular dive kick, sometimes you can mess up their timing and hit them.
Yeah. Right now, aside from we already touched on this, like how the current scene came together. But hold on, my Bluetooth has decided to tell me it has a low battery. Should still be good though. Anyway, as I was saying, the current scene came together. Like people just decided to play this suddenly, I guess, and that's how it started. This started going on. Like 90 members on the Discord. That's pretty good for something that really wasn't on the radar like a year ago, even though we've Dunkuk has been around for a good while now. I've known like this game exists, like an unreleased update to Kaiser for a long time now. But I guess like also the fact that it's on FightK2 helped a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Like that big Fight Kid 2 update that improved the quality of net play for every game on it and added so many has been super revitalizing for just so many scenes. Like, if you look around now, you'll be able to find Discords that are just full of people that you would not have had before, thanks to the Fight Kid 2 update.
Yeah, for real. Like, just waiting on that eventual Naomi rollback update. Blue Minder, if you're listening to this, I'm channeling all my energy to you. Please make it happen, so I can finally have Akatsuki with rollback. Thank you. Anyway, aside from that, yeah. So then we had like I think was the first tournament the one that Art streamed, or like the first big tournament?
Yeah, for like the modern current scene.
Yeah. Like, I don't really remember if I've ever seen, like, people play this before in, like, tournaments. Before, like, like, when people, I don't know exactly, but, like, you used to see, like, a lot of, like, say, like, 10 years ago, even, like, even known players, like, playing random ass games. Like there's one specific VOD of, I think it's Justin Wong playing Karnovs, and there's I think there's Shay on commentary, but there's pretty much like he doesn't really know anything about the game, so it's kind of hilarious. But when I was doing this, is that I don't remember seeing like anyone like just play, like having a setup in this in any kind of tournament. So flash forward to 2020, and there's suddenly like a scene for this game, which is kind of incredible.
Like the first big tournament, which I got like art to stream, was 14 entrants, which I guess was the biggest one for this at the time, unless maybe there's a random one in Japan.
No, I don't think there's much to any Japanese footage of this game.
Yeah, I guess because
not this game.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah, that's
like,
my go-to for weird games.
Yeah, the thing about Tenkuga is probably why you don't see a lot of Japanese footage of this. Is that it's a prototype game, and they usually like play everything on the actual board. So I actually very much doubt like there's a whole number of Tenkuga boards available for use in Japan. I don't know exactly. I would assume this game is like the actual board should be like super rare to find. So I assume that's why you don't really see any Japanese footage of this. So I guess you're in the sort of you're in the you're pioneers of this scene, right? Or pioneers of this game. You actually you're the first people starting to finally actually like break down this game and find out what works and what doesn't. So it's a really interesting position for like a fighting game like this whole to be this year. It's like, hey, we're actually trying to sort out how this thing works, which also kind of happens when you like have actually workable netplay. But yeah, that's a really neat thing to see in 2020. I guess, like, aside from the current, real life events going on, that's don't exactly allow for that for the offline tournaments. It's kind of helping a lot of these games to get some recognition, which is very nice to see. Anything else? Like I think I've went through most of what I wanted to actually like talk about this game in terms of the scene and whatnot. In terms of anything else you three would like to say about this game exactly? Like anything that you find neat or anything you find different or that you want to actually talk about?
This game has like the funniest guile function I've ever seen in Bart's, probably. I would have
Bart's is very funny.
Like, the initial reason I got interested in the game was because of how weird he is. Because like you'd think that he would just be all about buttons, but really it's a lot about fireball and a lot about like this. He has like this weird burn knuckle move. It's thunder knuckle. Right? It's pretty standard like rush down move. You can space the jab version to be really safe. Like it's just your standard approaching tool. But like the way it worked in a lot of matchups is really interesting because he kind of shrinks down his hurt box and he does it. So you can use it to go after a lot of stuff.
You actually just saw it on stream in the match it's playing.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say that. There's actually like someone playing Bart.
He's just a weird character and a really interesting character. And I think a lot of characters in this game fall into that category too. A lot of games that came out around this time tended to fall back on like Street Fighter archetypes in design, but I feel like this game does a lot with what it had. It has really interesting, character battle design. Even if like you have characters like Gecko, where it's like horrible, awful. Why would you make this?
Oh god, we could I guess we could go down. I could find Bunny's tier list and we could go down and talk about why characters are good.
So so I would actually not. I would not want to do that. We can just kind of go.
Fair enough. But
probably go just we have an alphabetical list on the Discord.
I guess we could also point out interesting types of characters. Like this game has Lee Hua, who is just she has a sword, and that mixes in kind of weirdly with Street Fighter style cats, but she's actually very good.
Yeah, so I guess she is very good. So I guess part of the reason why I don't want to just go down my old tier list is that even though I don't think it's probably changed too much, I'm very conscious of it right now because it turns out I was wrong about many things. Because when I wrote a lot of that stuff, that was when a lot of my knowledge came from just playing locally and having a really small sample size. So now that so many other people have picked it up, we're learning, just think about it. We learned Azteca has an air throw at all, a few weeks ago.
Yeah, people thought it was removed between games, right?
So that was so wild to me because the reason we thought it wasn't there is that everyone was people would say, oh, well, he had an air throw in Kaiser Knuckle. So, they'd try it and they'd go, oh, I can't air throw. Because they were trying to do it point blank. But Azteca's air throw has a minimum distance requirement.
What?
Yeah, yeah, that's why we didn't find it.
What the fuck is this game?
As I was gonna say,
air throw you if you're so far away from him, but you're not too far away from him.
Yeah, as I was gonna say, you don't be too conscious about it because, as I was saying, take this as a new game. You're playing a new game basically. There's not been documented at all, so you're obviously gonna the tier list always is gonna be different about in a year. So when you find out, hey, this game, what characters can actually do.
Yeah, it's the low tiers are where it really gets interesting because all of them definitely have a gimmick to them. A lot of people think the worst character is Gonzalez, who's a grappler, and his character design's great because it's he's from Russia. He's a judo practitioner. None of it makes sense.
Named Gonzalez.
What did we decide that thing's called? Big Boris?
Big Dolph.
Big Dolph.
Yeah,
That's the name of the Clark.
I mean, Gonzalez is amazing. He's a Russian named Gonzalez with a hat.
Man raccoon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So it's why?
I don't know.
And I was saying, his big gimmick is he has a roll, and that's just it's not just Daimon roll. It's ridiculous. It's technically got 3 frames recovery, but you can block during those, so you have to throw him out of it.
That shit is KOF 11 EX Kyo forward bug roll. Same
I don't know what that means, but that scares me too.
Okay, so EX Kyo in KOF 11, his forward recovery roll has no vulnerable frames of recovery, unlike everybody else's. In case you wanted to know anything about the console exclusive characters in that game. But it's similar with Gonzalez. It's just the same kind of energy, except he doesn't have to get knocked down to do it. He can just do it.
Yeah, so he does a lot of roll command grab.
So we also we also do have an option select where one of his grab inputs is really weird, and most moves you can't like. So the way they did it is you can't negative edge most moves, right? Some moves you can, but it's pretty rare, and usually it has more. It's like moves where you can't possibly do an option select. So Gonzalez has one that ends in up forward, but the command grab has no whiff animation. So you can instead cancel the jump startup into the command roll. So he can option select grab and roll.
That's fucked up.
And that's not actually that hard because he has like, so that move he can negative edge, right? So you negative edge and then tap you tap the roll. But he has like 8 frames jump startup, so it's super easy.
Yeah, and the roll is all 3 kicks.
That OS is going to be a big deal. Because that's relatively new, too. That was a couple days. That was a month ago, but, like, that's new.
No, that one's been around. I think maybe no one realized it was around because it was, like, far up in the channel. But no, that one's been around. The new thing is Argyle, unless Argyle has a different tag elsewhere. You'll know?
That's Argyle. Yeah,
it's Argyle. Okay. So Argyle's been doing frame data, and we learned Gonzalez's sweep is +4.
On block?
On block.
I wouldn't think that. Like it would be, right? How much block stun does that thing have, then?
I don't know anything in particular about this game, and I already can say that doesn't sound right at all. Like, not like the fact that it's +4. I fully believe that. Just the fact that why is the sweep +4?
Well,
yeah.
It's the same feeling you get. It's the same feeling you get when you look at Street Fighter 2 frame data. Like, oh, Balrog low rush is just +10 on block now. I guess I just.
I mean, yeah, pretty much.
One of my favorite things to point out. This is something I counted manually, like just because it was we were wondering exactly how many frames. Azteca and Jay McCoy both have command normals that have upwards of 15 active frames. I think Jay McCoy's has like 24 active frames, but if you hit immediately, it's like unsafe on hit.
24.
I think another funny one is like Kazuya Super is -1 on block.
Yeah. There's a lot of really silly stuff in there, and the other big new discovery was that this game has guard cancels.
Oh yeah.
God. Timing is kind of like Breakers and Breakers Revenge, so you do it on the tail end of block stun.
Yeah, that one.
That might explain why I was punishing certain moves of Thunder Knuckle really easily when I was playing with Robin when I last played with her. Because like she would do like a Kazuya move and I would Thunder Knuckle out of block, and I guess I never noticed, but like now it makes sense why that might be like a punish.
Yeah, it only like 3 frames or something max.
That's like a feelable difference though, I think.
Yeah, I guess so, but it's definitely significant.
Oh, that changes a lot too.
Definitely. We didn't know about that at all. Like it was one of those things where we found out that existed, and my immediate response was that explains so much.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just that's a game changer, but it was one of those things that we were already sort of taking advantage of without knowing.
Yeah, as I mentioned, it's a new game. You're basically playing a new game and finding like stuff all along. That's been hidden in the game since it didn't come out.
How do we not talk about how funny Wulong's DP was?
He's on the screen right now. That DP is super funny. It turns out it is actually quite punishable with the guard cancels.
Yeah,
so it got a lot less funny to me. But yeah, that DP that moves backwards on the recovery. Oh, what a silly character.
Yeah, so another thing, is there anything like special about like the wall breaks in this game? Because all the stages can get really long from the match footage.
There's a lot. Some characters get way better without walls on a stage.
I will say the wall breaks themselves don't have any bonuses or whatever. It's not like I think one of the Real Bout games, Real Bout Special or something, like a wall break is done, right?
So
but nothing like
Real
that.
Bout 1, is it Real Bout 1? Yeah, Real Bout 1 has the ring outs too.
I know about that because I love that game, stupid as it is.
No, that game rules.
But
No,
like,
there's no bonus for doing it. It's just the stage gets longer.
there's a few things.
I think you should
I think
like.
there's a few things I could mention.
Yeah, although I feel like you will eventually like take note about how you have to adjust combos to account for the wall break, because some characters have like loops that work in the corner but will break the wall because it's 3 hits.
Yeah.
Yep.
And sometimes wall breaks can also let you confirm in ways you couldn't before. For instance, we mentioned the juggle system. To explain how it works, basically, if you hit somebody with a move that doesn't disable the juggling, you can hit them with another move. And as long as as long as they are never hit by a move that just says you can't juggle anymore, you can keep juggling special moves until you hit an arbitrary limit. And the wall break animation does pop characters up a little bit more, I think. So sometimes you can use that to react to that happening, and if you know that you hit like the first or second hit of a move that won't turn off the juggle, you can confirm from that into more juggle. So it's helpful in that way too.
I think it actually just causes hit stop.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, that is the thing. Like there are like combo video combos with it. Like there's the really funny one of Kazuya doing his overhead punch. It's like a slow jumping overhead punch. And the first one breaks something in the background, which causes hit stop, and then the second one breaks the wall, which causes a hit stop. And they just juggle a third one.
Do we have
Yeah,
pictures of Kazuya's Grand Viper hitting behind him? Do we still have that?
I know exactly what video you're mentioning. Yeah, I saw that. That was kind of ridiculous.
I don't know.
I mean,
one of the interesting things about talking about this game, because I mean, it is like you said, it's like we're playing a new game, but we know it's old, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the time, we have to describe characters in terms of characters that didn't exist in 1994. Like yeah, we're talking about Kazuya having Grand Viper. You know, Soul Bad Guy didn't exist yet.
But I saw that weird, cross-up DP thing that you mentioned. It was like he saw just. I mean, for like I don't have the video at hand, but for those who aren't, who didn't see, we basically just Kazuya the very like it's a ZP, I think.
So
Am I correct?
Post links in the chat.
He just did it on stream. That was actually that move. But you just go ahead and post the link.
Basically, Grand Viper, so low profiles and everything.
And yeah, it just hits like a cross-up, which is a very funky interaction in any fighting game. Even if I don't exactly know, I can easily tell. Yeah, that's screwed up. And but so anything like aside from the fact that this game is named Dankuga for his DP, this move, which is naming like a Street Fighter game Shoryuken. Anything else? Also, it's a reference to his voice actor for
yes.
Those who don't. It's because he was like the main character in Dankuga, the anime. I think that's what it is. Anyway,
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Like anything else like about Kazuya that like anything else like weird that he has like an interesting, because I mean he's supposed to be the main character of this game, right?
Yeah, I mean I describe him as like a dream Shoto. This dude, like, I think if you know how to play Ryu in Super Turbo, for instance, you will feel immediately so much at home with this guy. Like he has some of the same links. He can link like crouching strong, crouching medium kick. He can play the same kind of like fireball DP game, but he's also got the the capability to rush down a little. He has like a really, really good throw actually. So he's just like a dream Shoto. And you have two DPs, so you have his like rising kick, that's Dankuga, and that move is 3 frames. So you got that move, and then you've also got the Grand Viper, which has invincibility frames, but it runs out immediately after the first active frame. But you basically have 2 DPs on the ground, and then in the air, if you do the Grand Viper input, he does a 1-frame air move, which may as well also be a DP.
Yeah, it's an air DP in place, so it's kind of weird, but it can be useful.
Yeah, I heard you like DPs, so you know
He's
the
got
whole
3
stick.
of them, yep. And like his fireballs have really good frames. Like even for a motion fireball, the frames on them are honestly wild. Like if you liked like new Ryu kind of rushdown where you have like a really, really good overhead, really good buttons, but you also liked old Ryu fireball, you get all of that here on top of having Grand Viper essentially. A really good low profile to go through other fireballs and a good DP too, like everything.
Another cool bonus is like on his normals, he has, I think it's Ryu's forward heavy punch, he has solar plexus strike, right? The 2-hit heavy, and he's on heavy kick, and it kind of serves as an anti-air and overlaps with his best throw.
Yeah, so with the throws, his heavy kick throw, he recovers like immediately after hitting them, so he just has so much time to get in there and do whatever setup he wants. And that overlaps, with his version of the solar plexus punch.
So yeah, I think characters that we haven't really talked about yet.
Can I talk about Jay McCoy? Because he won the last tournament.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Talk about Jay McCoy.
What a funny character. Jay McCoy is like... Oh. I think he has like basically all the plus frames Boxer does, but like with none of like the really good approach options, but he's about as scary when he's in. It's weird. He's like Boxer and Dudley together.
You could argue his reward is better because he has juggles. But...
Yes, he has really easy juggles that are consistent and work just about anywhere on the screen. He's got a really fucking good standing overhead. I'm gonna say that. Just have to say it like that because it's true. He's got a good super. He has all these good things, but his jump is really bad and his approach is like rough. Outside of the fact that he's got like really good slides, that's about most of what you have to worry for against him. But he's really interesting, and a lot of people like he's considered fairly weak, right? I mean, he's one of the lower end characters, but he's still very capable of winning in this game.
It was really funny to me. It felt like Moo Master took it as a dare.
Right?
Because I started saying like, oh, I think maybe Gonzalez isn't the worst character now. I think it's McCoy. And then Moo Master won a tournament with McCoy.
Yeah. Well, I feel like it's matchup related.
The main thing I feel about McCoy that people aren't really like exploiting so much yet is that dude has like he has a nightmare time of getting in on most characters. If we had more Marcos, or if that tournament he'd run into a Marco, I think that would have been it.
Yeah, like it's matchup dependent, right? If the character functions really well up close, like Lihua, for instance, probably isn't actually a completely terrible matchup. Like her DP is really hard to deal with, but like she can't really function if she's not close to him, so he doesn't have to worry about that too much. But like something like Kazuya is hard, or something like Marco can be really hard because those are characters that can just sit back and wait, right?
Yeah,
Marco is probably like the weirdest character in the game.
Oh my god, Marco's weird and bullshit.
I don't know if he's in this VOD or if he's in like the other one.
I think this was the tournament where none of our Marcos were around.
But the big thing is like he's a large character. His crouch is actually surprisingly short. He can crouch some moves that most of the cast can't. He actually gets stunned pretty easily, but has the most health. And he's got like if you air all 3 punches, that's like an overhead, and you can do that instantly or at a backdash. So at like a decent range, he has a 50-50 between that and slide.
And on top of that, he also has a command grab that has a really big dead zone in front of him, but it reaches, I think it's half screen.
Yeah.
So at that specific distance where he can backdash, overhead, command grab you, or throw his really slow projectile that sets up Oki 50-50 bullshit, it's really scary to be stuck in a bad spot against that character. And on top of all of this, he also has what is probably indisputably one of the best anti-air and or Abare options in the game with his wiggle move, like struggle, is it called? I don't know
it's like cat or whatever.
Yeah, so a lot of the move
Monster
names
Mash.
that exist, yeah, I just made up. So that one I called the Monster Mash.
It works.
Yeah, that's a one frame, fully invincible, hits on both sides mash move.
Yeah, the only way to
Um,
punish it is sweep, and even then, it still remains like one of the best mash out of pressure options in the game. Period.
And naturally, because of how the game works, you know, it juggles into the ground version of his
Yep.
three punch, which is he just kind of slams his arm down. It's not an overhead, but it hits at a good like height, so he combos into it.
Yeah. So essentially, like that character, I liken him to like the combination of Dalsim, and then he also just has some Sentinel moves in there. Like he's got Rocket Punch, you know, just. But he's also a big body, right? He's super weird.
He's super interesting, really odd, and pretty good character. Because Gecko is probably the best character in the game, and the
Are we
key
talking
to
about
being,
him now?
Well, we'll get there. But the key to being pretty good or usable in this game often boils down to, like, if you're playing against, like, a Gecko player, you need to have a way out of Gecko pressure. And characters like Bartz, Marco, there's probably more that are there, who have reversals or mash options that can get out of Gecko's Oki nonsense without having to worry about what side he's on, are all, like, really good. So we could talk about Gecko now, I think. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I guess before we do, though, I want to just say, I think a lot of being a viable low tier in this game, I don't think any character's not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I think a lot of being a viable low tier in this game is just being able to beat up at least some character who is relevant really reliably.
Lihua, Gecko,
Probably Kazuya.
Kazuya,
Yeah, Kazuya,
Yeah.
Bartz, even. I think Bartz is, like, relevant enough. Marco, definitely. If you have a good matchup against Marco, it doesn't matter who you have a bad matchup against. Because that's a rough matchup for some characters.
Yeah, Marco's like a counterpick, really strong counterpick character.
Yeah. But yeah, as long as you have, like, some relevant good matchup, then I think you can be a relevant low tier in this game. And with that said, we're talking about Gecko, I guess, and this is probably the most relevant character to like gatekeep top tier.
Just a horrible, evil top tier. If you want to like jump around in the YouTube video and like find a match that I play, I'd probably pick him. I actually don't know anyone else who like plays the character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, go ahead. I was gonna ask, what does Gecko do exactly?
Oh, everything.
Well-
So Gecko is one of the fastest characters in the game. I should start by prefacing that you can draw analogs to the kind of oppressive movement speed that you would find in a character like Chun-Li or Claw in Super Turbo, where they walk and they just move so fast that they have a lot of control in areas that other characters wouldn't when they just move. So from the beginning, you got that. Gecko is the only character that can double jump without having to hit a jump normal, which immediately raises the problem of, like, he just gets so much more options in neutral than so many other characters because of that. He's got a good air fireball. This air fireball is ridiculous because you can either have it stick in the ground, so it basically functions as, like, it controls space for you on the ground, so they can't walk forward on it, they have to jump over it. Or it can move along the ground as well, and you can't tell what one he throws until it hits the ground, so you have to wait. He's got a spinning move. It's like basically a Tatsu. It is I'm going to quote it, the best coward copter in the game, because not only can you run away with it, it's got a ridiculous hitbox, and it can cross up on Wake Up. And this is part of the reason why stage is important against this character, and why if you're on a stage with no walls, where it's just the corner, Gecko is technically worse. Whereas Gecko really wants you to be on a stage with walls, which his stage has, because his big mix-up and, like, the big grime with the character is that he's got an unseeable left-right mix-up that loops into itself on Oki.
Yep.
Sounds fun to do with. Sounds really fun.
And it's not hard. It really is not hard to do either.
No, it's very, very easy. You just do Tatsu, and it's not like duckable. So if they block the wrong way, they get knocked down, and then you do another Tatsu.
Yeah, and that's why I mentioned earlier that if you have a reversal like Marco, where it covers both sides, but also it's not an input that requires you to correct for the position Gecko is in, that's a massive boon in the matchup. like for Bart's, it's charge down up kick, right? His flash kick doesn't really have a lot of invincibility. It's not a great anti-air, nor is it a good wake up option, except in a scenario like this, because you'll get a trade. And for Bart's, that's getting out of that Oki, which is normally like for most characters, they can't get out of that. I think Boggy can do some kind of DP.
Boggy can, yeah. He's he can just do his regular DP and he'll at least get out. But
yeah.
So you do that, you piano it, right? And if Boggy gets anything but light DP, he might get punished depending on how early the Gecko was tatsuing.
Yeah, but generally it's really important if you're fighting Gecko, if you're playing a character that has a way out to use it, because otherwise you have to hold that. And it's not like you even get a big punish if you block it either. We've mentioned that like it loops into itself and it's, you know, all this really good. So like maybe you'd think, oh, I can punish it really hard if he fucks it up, or if, you know, I block it, I guess right. Nope, you just go back to neutral against the character that has really, really good neutral.
Yep. It can be punished depending on spacing and all that, but like it's not gonna be reliable, you know? I mean, you gotta block it in the first place and then be ready to punish it, and not every character can.
Yeah, like...
I think by the way, like I think Claw was a really good comparison because he's also got some of the best normals in the game.
Yep.
So
yeah, it does really
so messed up.
It does really sound like Claw. It really does sound like Claw.
He can just hit buttons. He can just beat you in footsies.
Yeah, he doesn't even have to left-right you. You could ban that mix-up and he'd still be ridiculous.
As a bonus, his super is a command grab. It's one of the few command grab supers.
Yeah, command grabs in this game, it's not a huge deal. The point though is that it's a 0-frame command grab. So if you're trying to pressure him, he just command grabs you. Stuff like that, right? Or he has like a really reliable punish for some moves, you know.
Hey,
speaking of,
think about if he could. Wait. Can he guard cancel into that?
Yeah, presumably.
I don't see why not.
Yeah, you should be scared. You should be scared.
Yeah, has anyone checked if you can guard cancel command grab? Because
I believe so.
I figure if you can do one, you can do all of them.
I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah. So okay. So yeah, it does sound like Claw. It does very much sound like Claw. SD Claw, definitely.
Can we jump to the character who actually has wall dives?
Sure.
Who is
Lisa, right?
They're one of the weaker characters in the game.
Yeah, so we compare Gecko to Claw, but the character who actually has more of what is Claw's moveset is Liza. And yeah, that's another character that I considered really weak. And then I think, did Moomaster find the stun combo?
Sorry to interrupt, but can you catch a ball? Is it possible for you to like skip around the YouTube video and like find specific footage? Because Moomaster does play Liza a bit.
Oh, I think we went. Let me just.
I think I have it timestamped, right? So if you just look for the name Moomaster.
Sure, go. Okay, there's the Moomaster match right now.
He might like start off playing Jay McCoy or something.
Definitely playing Jay McCoy.
Yeah, check match 2. Yeah, Moomaster definitely plays some Liza.
Usually he goes.
There we go. There it is. Okay, so let's actually just. Should be a bit faster this match.
Oh, sorry. All right. I'm on a delay. My bad. All right, cool. So, right, Liza. So this character has high tiger, low tiger on charge moves. And she like throws her animals, and that represents a cooldown on doing the same one. She's got Psycho Crusher and she's got Wall Dive. And so on paper, like that character sounds pretty sick. In reality, a lot of things kind of drag her down. The wall dive's pretty nutty too. Like you can go to one wall, go to the other wall, and then do the wall dive, and you can just wall cling before you do the wall dive. So yeah, this character was also considered pretty weak by me, at least, until the big thing now is that Moomaster found this this stun combo. So she also has a mash move with invincible frames, but hers is a lot worse than Marco's. The important thing is that some characters just get hit twice by it for no reason. So any of those characters, she gets mash move, Psycho Crusher, and that's a stun combo. That's it. That's all it is. And then you eat like 90%, and she just has to push you over the edge. So, really neat character. Lots of problems, but I'm really glad that she's a lot more relevant than I thought she would be.
Okay, so Boggy. That's we have 2 characters left. So yeah, tell me about Boggy. What does he do?
I guess I play that dude, so I'll just keep talking.
Yeah, because like
So
I tried to play
Boggy,
Boggy, and his set of normals was kind of weird and hard to get used to, but he's a good character.
yeah, Boggy feels to me like Kazuya is like the dream Shoto, right? But Ryu and Ken are still meaningfully different, so I consider Boggy to be sort of like the old Ken. The one thing Kazuya doesn't have is being old Ken, so Boggy does that instead. And so what that boils down to is he's got a really good DP. He gets a juggle combo off of his DP. And so most notably, like, the thing I at least go for. I know I'm in this video playing Boggy, so you probably see it if you change to me.
Yeah, sure. I think there was. We just saw some video. Go on.
Okay. So the really nutty thing about his DP in the corner, and why he's one of the characters who really prefers shorter stages, is that if he hits you in the corner with his DP, he can re-dizzy you off of it. He has an inescapable reset sequence, and on some characters it's just combos. So you can just corner DP someone. It's like it's hard to punish, right? And if they get hit, they just die. But aside from that, mid screen he gets sweep, and then this was before I'd practiced any of this also, but you'll see like DP sweep, and then I walk up and try to do stuff. He can actually cancel sweep. And he has like the Ibuki penguin kicks. So you can like sweep, cancel the penguin kicks, and do a left-right. He's just really he's buttons, he's a DP, and he's a left-right, and I don't know, he can be pretty cheap. You just do some ignorant stuff. He's got that fireball kiss that stuns on hit. He's just like, like Kazuya feels to me like a combination of a bunch of other stuff from its contemporaries that just works out into a really fun package.
Yeah, I guess to explain why I like Bartz, because we talked about him earlier, but outside of just being like a funny guile function, he has a lot of weird, he feels a lot like Terry to me, like a lot like Terry with a better fireball, a flash kick that you don't use in quite the same way. And like probably one of the most interesting mobility options in the game, because his dive kick can be done from a backdash. It's got 3 different angles. It's got ridiculous reward on hit. It can cross up sometimes. I don't know how or why, but it can. It's like so many characters is really interesting in this game. I don't think we've missed anybody, have we?
Yes, there's one character left, and that's a stacker.
I wanted to actually dig up T's combo that he did with Bartz, like the corner combo with dive kick, because it's pretty damaging.
Mm-hmm.
See, there's one character left, and that's a stacker, pretty much.
Right. That's a weird character.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as Tekka, we mentioned his weirdo air throw. And, that guy just, so, you look at him, he's got the mask, right? He's got the JoJo stone mask. And so, like, so at least for me, right,
yeah,
I looked at him and I went, oh, so is
just
this
a
claw?
sec, because I suddenly, okay, there we go. Suddenly stopped hearing you for whatever reason. Okay, go on.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I looked at him and I see the stone mask, and I'm like, okay, so is this claw? Right, and he's got the ridiculous buttons, so I'm thinking, okay, maybe this was like supposed to be their claw, right? But he also has Blanca Ball. But
it's a motion.
Yeah, it's a motion, and it goes up, and he recovers in the air. And I'm so Jed is really big on Azteca. Jed insists that character's super good. I was looking at him, I'm like, I don't understand how this comes together. And I believe we have Draco, who I only know because he does the Galford soft lock.
The legacy.
Yeah, so Draco's been playing Azteca and just being really ignorant and neutral, and then there's just a whole bunch going on there that's just like none of this should be working, but it does, and now I'm kind of convinced that's how that character exists. I mentioned him briefly. I said he and McCoy have moves with upwards of 15 active frames. He's got, I think, the most useful one of those. His forward heavy kick is he like stands on his hair, and so he has no low hurt box, and he just kicks forward, and it has something like 15 active frames, and it's really, really ridiculous. If you're a character who just wants to play neutral against that guy, I think you just lose. You cannot beat that. You gotta have something else. I don't think anyone actually is like that, though.
It's just some other interesting moves, right? He has his hop, which is like 3 kicks. And it kind of, it's very vertical, actually. So, like, goes up and down the whole screen's length, like, as quick as, like, a KOF hop would cover the horizontal distance. So it's really funny.
Yeah, that has invincible frames. You can cancel into it like Blanca, but he tends to just sort of get beat up if he tries to do that.
Yeah. He also got the hair whip, right, which is 2-1-4-6 any punch, and I think the light punch one can just juggle into itself in the corner.
Yeah, so they actually all, depending on how they hit, they all can start a juggle. But yeah, the light punch one's the most common because it's one hit. You know, if it hits at all, you get the juggle in the corner. But that move is just a gigantic disjointed hurt box that you can duck.
Also, he has a command grab.
Yeah, he does have a command grab.
Yeah, that's a nice bonus.
Throw in vuln frames in this game are really long, so I think that keeps it from being too nutty. But yeah, he definitely also has a command grab. He's a really interesting character. I think if you're looking for a character to explore who doesn't feel exactly like a character from anything else, that's a good choice. He's a really bizarre combination of tools.
I think him, Marco, and I'm gonna say probably like him, Marco, and Jay McCoy all stand out to me as characters that you can't really find in other games. Not like to say the other ones aren't, but in more like they're probably the most unique to me in the game.
Yeah, I hear you.
Marco in particular and Azteca, those two really stand out as like, what? Like, I don't think I've seen a move like Marco's mash move in anything else.
One thing I think is really funny about this game is that it hits a really weird sweet spot to me, where you have characters who are just super nutty and weird. Like, you know, you got your Azteca and your Barts, you know, but at the end of the day, like, they're still really strong characters who are relatively tame. Like Kazuya, yeah. We've sort of talked Kazuya like into a middle place, but that character's really good.
I mean, for the way you described Kazuya, just made Kazuya sound like, you know, he has no weaknesses. Really, like he doesn't have like a particular weakness. He's good at everything. It's just might not be the best at everything, but he's good at everything.
Right. That's definitely where he falls, and that's a really good place for him to fall. We have in the Discord a cast introduction channel, which is just a couple of posts from me where I just rounded up like pros and cons of every character, and that's more or less what I have for Kazuya. Is like he's really strong and well-rounded, but he's also relatively tame for the game that he's in. And that's it. That's the only problem, is that he's relatively tame. Like, that doesn't mean he's bad. He's just like Fireball DP man, but he has really, really good Fireball and DP.
Yeah, I mean, I also play a game with like, with a Dream Shoto. Like, if it's
No, Akatsuki might be the most Dream Shoto, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
I play Akatsuki in ABK. That is some privilege.
I do too.
Yeah.
He definitely.
21
he's definitely up there.
frame plus 4 on block overhead. I mean.
But there's parry though.
There is.
Sorry,
But-
can you just a quick cut? I just saw a tilt on the VOD.
Oh, yeah.
What was that?
What actually happened here in context is like there was a desync.
Oh, okay. Like, I know some title games, like, you can get into like tilts when you insert like more than 99 coins, so the game
What
just
happened
like
is-
freezes. But yeah.
Tilt is also like mapped by default to T for some reason, so you can accidentally do it if you press T outside of the window.
Yeah.
Sorry, thank you, Chintai Third, for the follow. Much appreciated.
I know
Go on.
these boards have a. They have like a tilt sensor like you'd find on a pinball machine. Like they have that space for it. So if you're finding a machine in the wild, it may or may not have one of those installed. But yeah, in the emulator, it's just a button to tilt.
I guess if I ever find like a Kaiser Knuckle machine, I can try tilting it.
Here's
I'm not gonna find the Dankuga machine.
shove.
I'm not gonna find the Dankuga machine definitely, but if I find a Kaiser Knuckle machine, I'm gonna try and just wiggle the cap and see if it tilts.
The board this game uses is really common, so it's not just these two games. It was a common board between a bunch of Taito games.
Yeah, the Taito F3.
Yeah.
It's also a little tricky to emulate, which is why a lot of people might experience like slowdown even though their internet is fine, or like I think if you do run ahead, it'll like instantly cause an EEPROM error.
You don't do that.
I don't use run ahead in general, but people do, so
Right. Yeah, I think we've got pretty much all the characters, a good explanation on like the system and esoterics. Anything else you'd like to add before I, close off this good conversation we've been having? So I
I
can
will
like
say that
go on.
our next tournament is going to be this. It's going to be Friday, December 4th. It's going to be at 8 p.m.
Well, good news. I'll probably commentate.
Right. So yeah, and which Twitch channel? Sorry,
Just
Bear.
mine, PolarBair.
yeah, PolarBair. Okay, just for the people just listening. So yeah, also PolarBair posted the Discord link for those on the chat. So click on that if you want to get into the community and play this game. So yeah, I don't think if there's anything else you would like to add.
I got a little bit. We just recently got started on a Mizumi wiki for the game.
Woo.
But so okay, basically we already had written up by me like over time as I was like testing stuff, right? We already have in the Discord a whole bunch of, bread and butters for characters, descriptions of their move list, including any like command normals or different throws, just anything you wouldn't know from just hitting buttons. And so A, the resources out there, but B, this is my request, is I would really appreciate if people approach what I've written from the perspective of like trying to disprove me. Because I've been wrong so many times with this game. I thought Boggy Gonzalez was a 10-0 matchup, and then I got bodied. So I've been wrong in many, many ways, many, many times. There's still so much to find, I feel like.
I will say, like, Gonzalez on paper definitely has some. Just don't bother playing this kind of matchups. But in practice, he like rolls through a poke and command grabs you. And he has crush meter, and that does like crush meter makes things do 150% damage, so he just gets you with one crush command grab and does like half your health.
Yep. You can either do the easy one or the really hard one that does like a shitload of damage and blows up the zone state.
For the record, the easy one is the pot buster input, so 6, 4, 1, 2, 3, 6 punch, and the hard one is 2, 3, 6,
Whatever
9.
The fuck that input
No,
is.
it's like 6, 2, 3, 6, 9. So it's forward and then tiger knee kick.
Yeah, basically.
That's the one you can OS though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically, it's the one you want, but
It's also better. They actually do the same damage. That one just
Has
gives
better
him a
OP.
better knockdown. Yeah. He recovers faster.
Yeah, so that one you can actually set up like ambiguous cross-ups with his dive kick, which is like a butt, so it's a dive butt. But there you go.
Yeah, either way, no matter which of those command grab hits you in Crush, he's gonna destroy Big Dolph with it. And do about half your life. So it's bad to get hit by that.
Crush also does
Kick
apply
is
to supers, so like be very careful if he's like in desperation health. His super is also really funny. I don't know if I'm gonna like pull up a video, but he throws you into space.
Yeah, it's the
that always goes around. Like I think that was the last big blow up we had in the Discord was like big not like blow up like something went wrong, but
It's a drama
increase
free.
in attention, right? Yeah, the drama free blow up. Was someone posted a Twitter video of Gonzalez doing a crush super grab for 80%.
Yeah, once we hit like 100 members, I'll just start shit for no reason. No. But yeah, no blowups yet. Not that I've seen.
I'm trying to think like what other character does like in fighting games. Oh yeah, it was Crackerjack also does have a super which just throws you off the face of the earth and back. The baseball bat, and then, like in Street Fighter EX, you just like a home runs you out of Earth, and then you hit a cell line and just come crashing down. But yeah, it's the same vibe with that Gonzalez super, which is a pretty good super. Like it's definitely a very good super in terms of aesthetics. But yeah, I think we've got everything. So yeah, last call again. Anything else you would like to add? And I guess not.
Yeah.
So yeah. So be sure to click the Discord to join the community and learn more about this game. You can also follow PolarBair's Twitch, like Polar_Bear, Polar Score.
Now,
Don't worry about it.
Absolute zero.
God, I can't even say that. Polar_Bear_8 on Twitch. Be sure to follow that for the tournaments next Friday.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Next Friday.
Yeah, next because it's. I guess it depends.
This upcoming Friday.
You consider the week to start on Sunday or Monday, stuff like that.
The 4th of
Yeah.
December. On the 4th day of Christmas. Yeah. There you go.
Oh man. T, you should plug Kusoge Advent Calendar while you're here.
Whoa, no. Hey, listen, if I do that, I might accidentally spoil what the first game is. But
Ooh, okay, fine, fair enough.
I'm looking forward to that.
That was me getting. Oh wait, you watched that?
I haven't previously, but I've caught Twitter clips.
Oh, good.
I have
I'm
yet
sorry.
to watch one live, but I like the recaps are good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I think
well,
I can't speak for Polar, but I know I'm all about Kusoge.
yeah. Well, I've submitted games this time, as per usual.
I mean,
I'm not like
you're in the Povertycast. You're in the Povertycast. I mean, I think if you're here, probably like Kusoge, or at least at the very least, the very obscure fighting games that no one plays.
I wasn't totally sure about.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say they're not necessarily that all poverty is Kusoge or whatever. There's some solid poverty out there, but I also think if you're playing poverty, you're probably a bit more open-minded. I would definitely call Samsho 3 Kusoge, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's really fun. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't quite sure if you wanted us to plug our own stuff. while we're here. So
Go
I
ahead.
held off, but
Go ahead.
I also stream Twitch Bunnies from Hell. Just that's all it is. And so mostly I plan to stream Dead by Daylight, and then I end up playing just whatever Kusoge I have sitting around. So recently I've done Panic for the Sega CD.
Oh, that's a game.
I was in that stream like playing along because we had like you had audience involvement and like me and some other people.
That game has like there's like a million outcomes to every like background in that game, and it's fucking fascinating.
You know what's ridiculous is I literally started that game and I said like I'm gonna play until we die because I knew we were gonna die, right?
Yeah.
We didn't. Completed the game in one go.
I've never seen that game's ending, so that's impressive.
It was I don't know what happened. We just guessed our way to the end, which is how you play that game, but you know.
Yeah, RNG.
So that, for the unfamiliar, that's a point and click where you just hit buttons and stuff happens. It really isn't any more than that. It's like peak. It's peak. This is barely a game. I recently also did Binary Domain, the Yakuza team's third-person shooter. And you know, just generally speaking, I stream a bunch of Kusoge over there, and that's sort of just how it goes.
I guess so.
My true
T.
passion.
Yeah, I guess T. So you're the last one.
I stream at the same channel name as it is here because this username is never taken. Stay blessed. Recently, I have been doing every 2D Sonic game that is not 8-bit. That has been a fun journey. Tomorrow, I'm playing Sonic the Hedgehog 4, so that is where it will stop being a fun journey.
Oh,
but
no.
you know, it was nice while it lasted. You know, it was good. You know, playing Sonic Advance 3 and going, wow, this game's actually awesome. And playing Sonic Rush for the first time and all that. You know, that's been good. I usually stream marathons of old games that I like. Sometimes I do Kusoge. It's actually not often. I usually show up on other streams involving it more than I do stream it on my own channel because I just like to, when I'm not focusing on doing stuff, I like to just unwind and play games that I find really fun. Recently, probably wrapping it up sometime in December, the last episode of Game Center BS, which is a thing I've been doing with my friend for, 5-6 years now. We're wrapping it up with the 1000th terrible game we've played because there is a compiled list of 1000 games that are bad. Well, about to be 1000. The 999th one was Bomberman X-Zero, which I now own a physical copy of. But that's all I do on that channel. Just a lot of, I guess it's variety, but like sometimes it's good. Yeah.
Right, so I guess I'm the very last one. So yeah, follow me on Twitch for things, for podcasts like these, for a whole number of fighting games. I play mostly everything, like poverty, non-poverty. I play mostly everything. And also have been trying messing around with Cloud Parsec stuff right now. Which again, thank you, buddies, for the follow. Much appreciated.
You're welcome.
I've also just hit. Thank you to TTTTsd again for the follow. But yeah, just hit 200 follows, so much appreciated. But yeah, I've been investing with Cloud Parsec stuff for now, and I hopefully we can, especially for certain like poverty fighting games that do not have any kind of net play, like some old PC Fusion games, like say really stuff like Million Nights Vermilion, Manibato.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's exactly the reaction I expect to get from mentioning that game.
I actually have some old videos of that game.
Yeah, Million Nights Vermilion, Manibato, Queen of Hearts does have net play, but it's really bad net play from what I get. Like, don't bother type net play. And yeah, we're gonna try and do stuff like, and I might actually do like sort of an event for people to get to play some of those games. Like, like advertise it as the first ever recorded net play sets of these, random ass game. And I might actually do that in the future. That's to see. But also for chill streams or for whatever reason, I tend to play a lot of Europa Universalis 4. So yeah, also stream that's just very chill when I want to chill, basically. So yeah, I think that's everything. Again, I guess we can close this now. Thank you all three for being here. I really appreciate it, and it was a good conversation, a good podcast, and thank you. Also, thank you for the people who've been watching this. Much appreciated. The VOD will be posted on YouTube shortly. Take care and play this game if you're interested. Be sure to play this game.
We're glad to be on here to talk about it.
So take care, everyone. Peace. See ya.